Welcome back to the 2015 SUNYAC Women's Volleyball Championship match. Extremely challenging match today between New Paltz and Brockport. Brockport winning 3-1. With us is Matt Joffrey, the head coach for New Paltz, and also joining us today, Anna Pollock. And tough emotional match today. Matt, if you want to start, talk a little bit about it. You guys got down 2-0, but really fought through that third one, and the momentum looked like it was starting to shift.
Yeah, I thought we fought pretty well the whole match. We played really poorly in the first two sets, and Brockport had a lot to do with that. I congratulate them. Steve has done a tremendous job with that program, and the team that played better and that played better all season won the conference this year. That's the reality. So I feel strongly that they're going to represent us really well in the national tournament as well.
When you look at this tournament and how competitive it was from start to finish, the energy in the building, and it's hard to look at it now, after a tough loss in the finals. But what's it say about where SUNYAC Volleyball is at this point?
There's more parity. The competition's a lot tougher. There used to be, even up until late in last year, 2 or 3 teams that kind of would know going in they were going to separate themselves. And this year, other than Brockport, everybody had a lot of tough matches all year. I think they're the team that probably beat up everybody the most from start to finish, really. So it allows for a lot of exciting, challenging volleyball. I mean, I think going in even into next year, like anybody can take this thing. Hopefully it'll stay like that for a while, and I'm hoping that will elevate the conference as a whole, and maybe we'll become one of those more nationally renowned, a couple of teams in the tournament, a couple of teams in the top 25, and even make a big step at the higher end as well. And I think with the quality of coaches and the quality of players we have in the SUNYAC, that can certainly happen.
Does it overall, when you look at it, and when you have matches like this and a tournament like this, help in recruiting for everybody in the conference, because it's now people looking at the conference first as opposed to other conferences? Or do you think it can help?
Potentially it can help. I think it certainly helps the teams that win, because they're beating good quality teams, But yeah, the type of recruits that you want tend to want quality competition. They want to be challenged day in and day out. So being able to sell that in the SUNYAC is certainly a huge thing for all 10 of us.
Anna, let's talk a little bit about the tournament itself from a student athlete's perspective. What's it like to compete in this kind of tournament?
It's awesome. It's an honor to even make it into the tournament, and then day by day it's do or die. So your mentality changes, your team's mentality changes, and you just see everybody fight for their lives, and everyone's game raises, every team, and it makes it a lot tougher. New
Paltz wins it last year. Coming in this year, everybody's looking at the champion. Does that give you sort of motivation that every night they're bringing their A game against you? And did you feel that during the year?
Definitely. Early on in the season, Coach said to us, we're not defending our title, we're pursuing another one. So we kept a mindset like, this is anybody's game. We're out to get the winner too. So we were one of those teams looking at other teams.
Yeah. Matt, when you're playing in a tournament like this, how do you break it down where you keep your team focused on one play at a time, one set at a time? Because it's hard to not sometimes look at the bigger picture of who you could play in a final when you got to get through everything.
Yeah, we have our players have a lot of experience in these situations, not only in the SUNYAC tournament but the national tournament, and we treat our entire season almost as a postseason. And we want to play top teams. We want to take. Our goal isn't to necessarily get here. Our goal is to get to the national tournament, and we want to win all the time. So we've got either an automatic or an at-large opportunity. Unfortunately, we've probably fallen short of both of those this year, but we treat every single one as important just because we know that it can lead to the bracket we really want to be in down the road, and every opportunity to compete with somebody and beat somebody is critical. So it doesn't really change a whole lot other than emotions get a little bit heightened because it actually is postseason, and we know what the alternative is if you don't advance.
After a year like last year, and we just asked Anna that question about being a team sort of to beat, do you feel as a coach like throughout the year that teams are playing their A game, or do you just try to keep it very simple and say it's just another match, another year?
We respect everybody. We've beaten some teams on certain days that we probably had no business beating, and we've been on the flip side of it. So we respect everybody. I don't think that we feel any extra pressure, because it's not like we're bringing the previous year's team back to compete this year. Right? It's a new team, it's a new person. Even if you don't have a lot of numbers change over, it's a new personality, it's new expectations, it's new people in critical situations. So, you know, and as soon as you stop respecting opponents, you've kind of stopped respecting the game and yourselves as well. And we don't let that happen. We've got too much pride to do that.
And let's a chance to talk about some of your players that were your leaders this year, who guided you through this year.
One of them sitting right next to me. You know, Anna, Becca, Morgan, Rachel, they really kept this team together this year through some of the tough road we had, certainly early on, when we weren't playing as well as we wanted to. Their outlook stayed tough and demanding, but positive and enthusiastic at the same time. So I'm really, really proud of them. You know, once you win it, you want to do that for the rest of your life, and it's hard to do. And as you just asked about, keeping everything one day at a time versus being able to look ahead, I thought that group balanced that really well. Anna's really the glue, I think, that holds this team together, certainly on the floor. I mean, probably the most emotionally steady and confident, smart player we have. And she's a huge asset to her teammates, but she's a huge asset actually to me, because I can look at her and calm down. I can look at her and know everything's going to be okay. I mean, she's actually, of that group that I mentioned, I think she's the most key member of that in terms of the pulse of our team.
When you hear the term coach on the floor, is that by somebody you describe? Is that how you would describe her?
Yeah.
Anna, do you like that role? Did you always have that role, or
she
just
likes
kind of
it or not, she's good at it. So she's going to keep that for another year.
Yeah, I try and, I know people can get rattled, and I try and keep our team mentally stable the whole time. I'm not one really to dwell on mistakes. To me, it happened, it's over, and I always try and keep my teammates there too, and I want them to do the best. They play better, I'll play better. They're happy, I'm happy, so.
So if a mistake happens, you just say, hey, done, let's move on to the next one?
Next ball, let's go. Change your attitude, and we're good.
So you take that same approach whether you guys get a bid or not into the NCAAs if your season's over? Okay, it's done, next year, move forward?
Well, I mean, if we're fortunate enough to get a bid, then we have tons of work to do, but we can't dwell on the fact that we lost this. And if we don't, then, hey, we got another season to go, so can't dwell on it either.
It's a great attitude. Congratulations, both of you. Great run this year. I know you got a long ride back to New Paltz, but hopefully the NCAA committee will take a good hard look at you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Welcome back to the 2015 SUNYAC Women's Volleyball Championship, and we have our champions, Brockport, joining us. And from left to right here, Sam Holdridge. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sam Holdridge, Steve Pike, the head coach, Kathleen Irwin on the right there. Congratulations. I think it's been 21 years. Is that the stretch?
I don't know.
I think it's been, looking back, I think it's 21st title in 21 years for Brockport. How does it feel? And I'll let anybody jump in first.
I mean, it's completely like undescribable. We've all worked really, really hard. So.
Yeah, I think still a little numb to the fact.
You all look stunned.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that just happened.
Yeah, it's still not quite real. Plus, I mean, it's just been sweet. You know, as any team, you go through adversities in different places and different times, and to see this team just keep battling through whatever the adversity was, no matter what, and keep being a team. I mean, just the fact of giving out T-shirts in there. We had seniors who I let go first give up their shirts so someone who was smaller could take a shirt.
Yeah.
It's a little thing, but they're just putting each other first. And that's what we want. That's what, you know, student athletes are about. That was pretty cool to see.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty about the matches itself, one of the things that startling, not startling, but that jumped out was the crowd. I mean, and you guys are so focused on the match, but the bleachers were rocking the whole time. Did you feel that energy?
Yeah, definitely. It was really good to have them all there, and it just helped us with our energy, and it helped us keep fighting.
I think they washed the paint off from last night, but it was an unbelievable atmosphere.
No, absolutely, yeah.
That's what's great about volleyball. I think several other countries have it right, and we had it right in the gym today.
Yeah.
Volleyball should be a game to just be loved and cheered and just be loud and just have a great time and see great athletes making some, you know, fabulous moves on some balls and just really going after it.
It had that foreign feel to it because of the singing and sometimes when you watch British soccer matches and that kind of thing, that's what it was like. You guys may not have heard all that, but it was amazing. Even the president and your athletic director, people in the stands were all going, wow, this is really a different atmosphere than what we're used to.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to win?
Feels good.
Yeah.
I like winning.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, it feels great. Do you know what I mean? It's just some hard work. That's the fun part, is you just kind of see the changes from, you know, August 17th when this group of 17 was here, but, you know, from year one when I got here, just how much every one of those young women had contributed to this and the development of this program in the last 3 years has been just really blessed to be a part of it.
So I know you game plan a lot. How are you altering your game plan throughout the match to make sure you guys came away victorious?
I don't know that we altered it a lot in that.
No.
I think
we
our
kind of like stuck to it.
Yeah.
Since it's working.
I think our game plan worked pretty well. I don't think we didn't execute it real well the first 10 points.
Yeah.
Probably, and then after that we executed pretty well, and then the third set just had a few kind of random plays that didn't really go our way, but it wasn't necessarily game plan stuff. We kind of stuck with what we started with. Yeah, we didn't change it hardly at all.
No.
And that doesn't always happen, but.
So after winning the first 2 sets, you guys dropped the fourth, or they dropped the third.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys turn it around to make sure you guys won the fourth one?
We just definitely kept pushing. We tried to like obviously pass better and shake like the little things off. So that definitely helped. I think that the plays stuck with us when we made mistakes in the third game, and we didn't really let plays do that in the fourth.
How did you guys make sure to not let your mistakes or calls that you were kind of iffy about affect you and stay positive the whole time?
I just look around at everyone on the team because they stay positive and I know they have my back.
Yeah, we're just always trying to play the next ball the best we can. So, you know, if we can learn something from the last ball in 2 seconds, let's do it. If we can't, then we got to get to that next play and just figure out what we can do, because that one we can control. The last one we can't. So, yeah, I think they've done a great job, and you know, we're just going to continue to work on that.
Cool. Do you have any ending thoughts about making it to the NCAA tournament?
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see how far we can go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
If you look at the hitting percentage you held New Paltz to, defensively, you really put a stranglehold. That looked like a real key to the match.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's why I think, you know, the defensively was huge. I mean, our blocking scheme worked pretty well, but the defense behind the block, our second level of defense, was phenomenal. You know, everyone made some unbelievable digs on balls, just outside her body. Maddie came up with some key digs and huge points, and then our right sides really played great. Spillman came in off the bench and did a great job.
Yeah, that first rally.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome just to see. I mean, to see all 17 of them mentally in the whole entire match. I mean, that goes to show when she came in, she was already been in the match the whole time. Just now she was physically on the court. That's why she went out there and performed well.
The common theory is that defense wins championships, and as coaches that's hard to teach because offense gets all the numbers and everything. As players, when you look at the defense, what do you kind of see moving forward? You kind of really get how important the defense was, or have you always understood that?
I think we've always had pretty consistent defense. We're not the tallest team, obviously, in the SUNYAC, so we've put what we have to our advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a defensive player, that's all I do, so that's just my mindset, so I love digging people.
So how do you take that as a defensive player? How do you kind of get that to other players on the team?
I just try to encourage them. Like, if they miss a dig, some people get frustrated, but like I know they can do it because they're right there, and I just try to remind them that like they can do this, and I believe in them.
Yeah, I think so much of defense is something that they probably heard me say 7 million times. You know, let me say it again, but it's just eye work. Like you gotta see the right things at the right time, and if you do your eye work right, you know, and you got some pretty good technique, you can make some pretty good moves on a ball that other people are watching the ball can't make. So the better we get at our eye work, you know, there's the better defense we're going to play.
How much is it under, and maybe for people just watching from the stands, to understand the defense, is so much of it really sort of an awareness and spacing and anticipation?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to describe. You just gotta. We work a lot with the block. So once we know what the block's doing, then you just focus on the hitter, and you have to just kind of. I go where I think the ball's going to be hit. So I anticipate it, I guess.
And it's also just like a mindset of not letting the ball touch the ground.
Yeah.
Is that more fun? Sometimes you're a defensive player, but sometimes is that more fun to stop the other team?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Because it's like they're giving you their best and it's not good enough. So it's a good feeling for me. But
For you, Sam?
Yeah, I get more excited when I get like a good dig than when I get a kill, honestly.
So moving forward for the NCAAs, obviously defense is important, but you start getting to that level. What do you do now in preparation for an NCAA tournament, especially the first time for a team in a long time?
Yeah, I mean, it's we're gonna go back out and take a look at this match and continue to train and get better at some little things. Let's get 1% better every day. Let's see how we can be a little better at serve and pass, because that's still how every rally starts. And then we'll just continue to grow each day and go out and get after it in our next opponent and play the next ball as best we can. And we'll see what happens.
Do you have enjoy it today and then back to work tomorrow? Is that pretty much? Or
I shouldn't say always. A lot of the times I watch the match again, like that day, that night, at least once, at least. And so I think I probably still will.
But you know the ending, which is a good one.
Yeah. The ending always gets me because it never changes, but I always still watch it no matter what.
Well, congratulations. I'll let you guys go back and celebrate with your team. It's 2015 SUNYAC champions, Brockport.